Hi, good day all of you. Welcome to our session. Welcome to our channel Intelligible Tutorials. In this today's session now we are going to discuss about the path testing, path selection criteria and path testing criteria. What is a path and what is a node and what are the links and all these things. Okay, in the previous sessions we completed some other things of the software testing methodologies. Now in this particular session we are going to discuss about totally about the paths. Path selection criteria and path testing criteria. So coming to the path testing, okay, so what is a path actually? What is a segment actually? A segment is actually a connection between two nodes. It's a link and it is a single process that lies between two nodes that can be defined as whenever there are two number of the nodes are existing, these two number of the nodes will be connected with the help of one link. That link is also called as a segment and it is also treated as a process. Okay, so a path segment is nothing but the succession of the consecutive links and belongs to the same path. Whenever there are multiple number of the paths are in the same way, the links which are connected to the path, that is called as the path segment. Okay, so how can we measure that path segment actually? How many number of the links through which the particular nodes are connected? That is nothing but the length of the path. For example, we are having node 1, 2, 3 in the sequentially. We connected node 1 to node 2. See here in an example I will show here. See. See, for example, we are having some, this is the node 1 and this is the node 2 and this is the node 3 and this is the node 4 we are having. Okay, so whenever we are having the connectivity, this is called one link, this is called another link and this is called another link. Okay, so this is name is given as A and this link name is given as B and this link name is given as C. So what is the length of the particular thing here we have seen? So what is the length of this here? The length of the path is measured as 3 number of the links. And what is the name of the path? Here we can represent it as A, B and C. Okay, so this is the connection of these links. And what is a path segment here? The 2 or 3 links that we are representing here, that is called as path segment. Some A is one path segment and AB is one path segment and total ABC is the name of the path. Like that we can represent various number of the paths and links here. Okay, so the next, what is the fundamental path test selection criteria? Which path we have to select? That's what it is saying. Okay, there are multiple number of the paths that are showing in a graph, in a control graph, whenever we are talking about the control graph. Okay, which path has to be selected from the entry to exit? Okay, so whenever you are talking about the decision having two number of the paths. If for example, each and every decision can yields two number of the values, that is nothing but yes or no, 0 or 1 or true or false or whatever it is. So if it is yes, it goes along with one path. If it is not yes or simply no, it goes along with one path. So likewise, each and every decision doubles the path. Whenever you are having a decision in your path, for example, see, there exists a decision like this in your path you are having. Okay, so this is one kind of the decision. Okay, so this particular decision, so it goes one path. If it is yes, it goes to another path. If it is no, so if it is 0, it comes to one path. Okay, or if it is 1, it goes to another path, like that. So whenever it is coming through from one node, okay, whenever there exists a decision like this is called the decision here. This particular decision goes to either 0 or 1. So likewise, what it is saying, the decision doubles the path. Okay, in the same manner, whenever we are coming to the loop multiplies the paths. Okay, for example, we are having I is equal to 1, okay, and I less than or equal to I, some greater than or equal to some 9 or 5, some value whatever we have given. So it multiplies the path. So 1 in 1 is greater than or equal to 5. Oh, sorry, the less than or equal to 5, the condition is given as, so 1 is less than or equal to 5, it enters, and again 2 enters, and again 3 it enters, and again 4 it enters, like the total 5 number of the paths it got. So it multiplies the number of the path, whereas the decision doubles the path. So these things we have to remember. For the decision, how many number of the paths we will get, and for the loop, how many number of the paths we will get. For loop, the paths will be multiplied, and for the decision, the path will be doubled, like this. Okay, next. So what is the fundamental path test selection criteria? What are the various examples are there in the fundamental path selection criteria from the initial stage of the node to the end stage of the node? Okay, the very first step we have to remember here, it is the define complete testing and exercise every path from entry to exit. We have to take care of every path from entry to exit, and we have to exercise on every statement at least once. We have to execute the every statement at least once, every branch in the case statement in each direction at least once. Okay, so if prescription 1 is followed, then 2 3 are automatically followed. So every branch in the case statement, for example, the case statement will look like this. If the condition is follows, the case will goes to multiple number of the paths like this. Okay, so this is the example of the case statement. This is for case 1, this is for case 2, and this is for case 3. We have to check for each and every path in the case statement. That is the main motivation of the fundamental path selection criteria. While working with the fundamental path selection criteria, each and every statement can be executed at least once. In the decisions, both the paths can be executed at least once, and as well as in the case statements also, each and every statement can be checked. Okay, so here one example that is showing how the path can be selected. The control is coming from this particular statement. If x less than 0, go to 200. X is equal to x plus a. Let us see this example. It's a very good example. X less than 0, go to 200. Okay, so go to the node 200. X is equal to x plus a. 200 into x is equal to x plus a. 300 into 300 and continue. So x less than 0. So if x less than 0, if yes, directly it goes to 200, or no, then it comes to x is equal to x plus 1, again 200 into x plus a, like that. So basing on this value of the x, the path is going to be selected. So how the path can be decided? The path can be decided by the input variable whatever given by the user. So basing on that input variable, the path can be decided in this particular diagram, which is based on s it goes to one direction, or else it goes to another direction. Okay, so for negative, the output is x plus a, while for x greater than a or equal to 0, the output is x plus 2a. The same here it is representing. Whenever it is the negative value, x less than 0 or some true, some x less than some minus 1, it goes to x is equal to x plus a, or else directly it goes to the 200 again into x plus a. That's what it is saying. So if it is the negative value, it is going through one path. If positive value, it is going to another path. That's what it is saying. Okay, and one more thing that we will see, if this is another example. See here also the same thing here it is showing. If x less than 0, go to 200. 200 into x is equal to x plus a, 300, continue. X less than 0, directly go to what? Yes, 200, else it is going to like this. Okay, so based on the input value, the path will be selected in the case of the decisions. Okay, so what is the thing right answer here? Whenever we are having a negative value, that particular negative value -1 or whatever it is, that produces the correct answer, or else we won't get the correct answer. Okay, so in the fundamental path selection criteria, what it is saying is the value of the decision or the path can be decided on the input value whatever we have given, like we have seen in these two examples. Based on the x value only, the path will be decided, right it or not? Okay, so now every statement can be executed, but if test cases do not force each branch to be taken, the bug remain hidden. So every statement can be executed and every branch can be executed. If at all you omit any one of the execution of any one of the branch, then the bug remain hidden. It won't be come outside. Okay, so the coming example uses some test based execution, and we are executing each branch and but not forcing the execution of the all statements. So whenever we are not forcing to execute all the statements, what it is saying here, the bug will be there. Whenever there is a bug will be there, the bug will be there and it remains there forever. That's what it is saying. Okay, so now let us see this example here. Some of the bug prone situation it is causing. So some multi-way branching also, we can say this example is also called as the multi-way branching. If x is 200, 150, 150, 100x is equal to x plus a. If x is equal to 0, it goes to one path. X less than 0, it goes to 200. And x greater than 0, again it going to 150. Okay, so here what we have to see, any one of the value can be executed. If x is equal to 0, it goes to one path. X less than 0, it goes to one path. X greater than 0, again it goes to one path. For example, x greater than or equal to 0, it going through the same node. Okay, it going through the same node. But whenever there is a bug will be hidden, then what about the situation? The bug will be hidden, it cannot be identified. So in these cases, we should not omit any one of the branch here. We have to check for this branch, we have to check for this branch, and we have to check for this branch also. So we have to test for all the ways possible for the decisions. We have to check each and every way which is possible for the decisions. Why this we are using this means for uncovering the bugs. For whenever there are hidden bugs are there, these hidden bugs will be uncovered if you do such things. So each and every path, each and every statement, each and everything in the step program or in the path can be executed, can be tested. Okay, so then only you can uncover the bugs. Okay, so now next we are going to talk about two kinds of the analysis. What are the two kinds of the analysis? This analysis of the code can be done. So what kind of the analysis on the code normally we can do at the dynamic analysis and as well as at the static analysis. In the static analysis, we are having only the compile time bugs only. We are going to talk about only source code or the structure only. But in the dynamic analysis, we are seeing, we are watching the behavior of the code, how the code is executing, how the statements are executing, how the path is going from one thing to another thing, one node to another node. All these things can be possible in the dynamic analysis only. So path code readability. What is the meaning of the code readability actually? So whenever you start at one particular node and directly the code executed and it gives the result or not, intended result or not, that is nothing but code readability. That code readability can be possible by using the dynamic analysis only, but not possible with the static analysis. So for the source code, you can do two types of the analysis. That is static analysis. At the source code compile time itself, you can check for errors. Are there any errors? Are there hidden errors? Are there like that? But whenever you have find any kind of the errors there, you can correct the syntax errors. But what you will do in the dynamic analysis, the path can be represented, the control flow can be represented in the dynamic analysis only. So the code reachability from one node to another node through the loops or through the decisions, through the case statements, through the junctions, or the code is reachable or not, it is successfully executing or not, it is uncovering the errors or not. All these things can be possible by using the dynamic analysis only. So dynamic analysis is the important one we have to do for the code. Okay, so we are going to test the code behavior with the possible dynamic analysis only. Next, we are going to talk about the path testing criteria. So far, we have seen the path selection criteria, how the path is going to be selected, through which branches, two-way branch, three-way branch. This is the example of the three-way branch, and previous example, it is a two-way branch. Okay, so multi-way branches are also possible with the decision. This is the multi-way branch or a three-way branch. Less than 0, one path, equal to 0, one path, and greater than 0, one path. Whenever any one of the path can be omitted or not tested, then the errors can be hidden here. Okay, so like this the path can be selected. So we are talking about the path selection criteria now. I will give the detailed introduction of the path selection criteria in the coming video. So what is the fundamental path test selection, path testing criteria, I will give in the coming video. I am going to discuss about the path selection criteria here. So what is the path selection criteria? Each and completely execute all the statements. Okay, so we have to execute all the statements completely from entry to the exit. Each and every statement must be executed at least once. Each and every case statement, each and every junction, each and every decision path can be executed successfully at least once to uncover the hidden errors. Okay, so this is called as fundamental path selection criteria. In the coming video, we discuss about how the path testing criteria can be done, what are the required tests to be conducted for path testing criteria, all these things. Okay, so I'm stopping now. So in the coming video, please watch further videos of the software testing methodologies. Please subscribe my channel, Intelligible.